Welcome. Remember us? It is the Ski Bum Podcast, episode number 334, and it is your pals Mario and Ryan. Mario, what's up?
We're back. We're actually back.
It has been a hot minute.
Yeah, I'm feeling good for that. We're back.
Yeah, we did say that this summer we were not going to be doing the podcast as often as we were.
Kept our promise.
Past. And we kept our promise, as we are trying to do more of. But yeah, it's been a couple weeks. It's been summer. You know, we're here in the Northern Hemisphere. Mario's down in Florida. I'm here in New Jersey. It's been hot. It's been crazy. And we're going to talk a little about it in the main topic. We're keeping it light. But what we're doing is, like, my kids are getting ready to go back to school, and they've been going to bed late, and they've been sleeping in the morning. And after...
Oh, is that going to be a hard transition?
The next couple weeks, we're trying to get them back into school form, get the routine going again. And that's sort of how we're looking at things. You know, we had our summer vacation.
You going to sleep early?
Yes. We slacked off. We got out of our routine, and now we're slowly going to transition back to our routine because I don't know about where you are, but I know next week by us, the temperature is going to start dropping. It's starting to get darker at night. We're getting closer to the beginning of ski season, and that is our summer, if that makes any sense. Like, I always tell people that most people think summer is Memorial Day weekend. That's when it unofficially starts. For skiers, yeah. I feel like Halloween is kind of our Memorial Day. You know, like things are getting ready to, even maybe Thanksgiving if we're pushing it a bit. You know, that's when things get fired up and get started. So
getting ready to go.
So we're starting to get back into our fall, winter, spring routine into our podcast releases. So get used to hearing us again. We know you're excited. We're excited. We appreciate you listening. Thanks so much. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com. We're on all the socials, X, Instagram, Facebook, Untapped, YouTube, at Ski Bum Podcast. Go to your favorite podcasting apps where you can rate and subscribe. We'd really appreciate that. Big shout out.
I think we're going to provide live election coverage too this year, right?
We'll go stuff some ballot boxes. You know, we can't be paid off.
You ain't stuffing, you ain't fluffing. You got to keep it going.
That's what Mom always said. Yep. Big shout out to our friends over at 10,000.cc. They're making some of the best athletic gear you can buy. Well, for dudes at least. They don't make it for the ladies quite yet. I've been working out pretty hard this summer. I talked about my Go Ruck adventure last podcast, wearing 10,000 gear for that, of course. I've been training all summer using my 10,000. What I love about them, they're all about athlete-led design, test, iterate, repeat. Only way to become your best is to work with the best, and their gear is the best that you can get. Their motto is better than yesterday. At the heart of 10,000 is the idea of pursuit, business, fitness, life, and skiing. They believe in moving forward with a quiet dedication to constant improvement, to becoming just a bit better than you were yesterday. Go to 10,000.cc, use code BSchneider15, BSCHNEIDER15, and get 15% off. You'll love their stuff. I know I do. I'm not wearing any of it now. I'm wearing some old Oakley shorts. They're not a sponsor. Why did I say their name? It doesn't matter. 10,000. Their stuff's the best. Interval shorts are awesome. Foundation shirts are great. The interval joggers are out of this world. Can't say enough good things about them. Got a couple pairs of those. I know you'll love them. So check it out. Thank you, 10,000. Mario, let's kick this off the way we always do.
It's time for Après Today.
Yeah, so we starting it back up, and this is going to be a fresh one today.
Got a freshie.
There it is. And obviously, if you could tell by the sound, if you're a good audioist, you know it's in a can. So I have a beautiful Calusa Brewing Company, the Zote.
Calusa.
Calusa Brewing Company. They're in Sarasota, Florida, which got hit pretty hard with this last storm. There's a lot of flooding down there. Got turned on to them. This is our buddy John, one of his favorite beers. So last time he came to visit, he dropped a few off. I said, great, I'm going to save one for the podcast to share with our friends. This is 7.5% New England IPA. Hazy, juicy, fresh. Let's get
no
the
lactose,
tasting
though,
notes.
right?
No lactose. He is
not
lactose
a drop
intolerant.
of lactose in that yet.
That's right.
Yes.
Citra hops, Mosaic hops, and Cascade and Centennial hops. So there's a lot of hoppiness in there. Let me tell you how it works.
Oh boy. Calusa.
Oh, this is actually really good. So it has a little front of the Sip of Sunshine-ish. And I think that's that. It's got to be the Cascade or Centennial, one of those hops, like that flavor profile. But then it goes into a little danker, a little hoppier. That's that New England IPA kind of mojo. And then it changes again. So it has like 3 different almost flavor profiles as you drink it.
Okay.
The citrusy gets you on the palate. It's pretty nice. A little dancing around. Got a little.
Is it breakdancing for the Olympics?
Breakdancing, little Olympic breakdancing. It's got that Skittles flavor, little Skittles. Like I like the Skittles. Like that's that hops to me. It gets a little Skittleish, and then it's not too hoppy. It has that hoppy mouthfeel, but not that hoppy. It's hard to explain. Like the hoppy, punchy in the face and sour your stomach feel doesn't have that. It has like more of a hoppy flavor and nose, but then kind of goes right down. So it's a good one. So I'm gonna enjoy this. 7.5% should put me on a good road for the rest of this podcast. Add that into the drinkable weed that I had before and the bullet bourbon that I'm gonna probably finish up with. So it's gonna be a fun fun podcast.
Yeah. Trifecta going there.
At least I didn't take a gummy that's going to hit me in like 20 minutes, where we've seen how that finishes off on some of these podcasts.
Beer, bud, and bourbon. The trifecta.
That's right. The trifecta. It's the Holy Trinity.
That's true. That's what we're all about here at the podcast.
All right. What you got, Brian? What do you got rolling?
All right. So I haven't been drinking much hard liquor this summer. I don't know if that's being extremely accurate and fair. I've been doing my
bourbon though, right?
Well, watermelon margaritas. That's like my thing in the summer. That's what I have on a Friday night. I make one giant one. I drink that. I usually pass out on the couch and snore and annoy my wife, and then do it all again on Saturday, and then I'm done for the week. Like that's kind of. I gotta say,
whenever the summer hits and I see watermelon out there, I love watermelon. I think of you because I know you have like 2 of them on your counter. You rotate them. Like we had a whole discussion on previous podcasts about this.
You can go back and find plenty of discussions about watermelon on the podcast.
I went to the store, bought 2 watermelons this summer. Both of them were shitty. I'm not a good watermelon picker-outer.
You need the guide. You got to check. You need the guide where it shows the right. It's got to be a certain color, a certain shininess. You want the yellow spot there. There's things to look for. I can send you the guide.
I go to an upscale neighborhood grocery store. They should have a watermelon sommelier there. That's what they should have. Like, excuse me, sir, how many days are you going to eat watermelon? Like, I want somebody to guide me. Like, I go to the store.
You go to Costco and there's 6 tubs of watermelons, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. Like, people are tapping on it. People are smelling them. Like, you don't know what are you people even doing?
Stethoscope. You're like listening to it.
That'd be a great service. Be like, yo, you want the best watermelon? Like, give me $10. I'll get you the best goddamn watermelon in this bunch here.
You got to go in the back and get the special watermelon in the back.
Because they have them, because Costco has like the shelf.
You need a forklift to get that.
Well, they have. You have the shelf, but the stuff's for sale, and all the extra stuff is on the shelves above. Like you got to Spider-Man it up there and like be grabbing watermelons for people. Like that could be. I mean, you could probably get away with it for a day or at least 15 minutes before someone arrests you, but you made someone's day. You're picking up the best watermelons.
I wonder if you could personally just stand there and say, "Look, if somebody pays me $5, I'll pick out a beautiful watermelon for you."
Yeah, I'll pick the best one in the bunch.
You want some produce? I'll pick out good produce for you. Just kind of go around and pick out the best stuff.
Yeah, like a higher end Instacart.
Yeah,
like Instacart Black.
It's almost like bananas too. When you pick out bananas, like,
Yeah.
am I gonna eat? I need it. You want like a set of bananas, like you want a whole bunch, but you want like a few green, few just after green, and a few ripe right then.
Like
Because you're gonna eat some
Neapolitan.
today, right? Some today, like 2 days, 3 days. You know, like you got your days you're gonna eat them.
I want 333.
Because God forbid you go to the store 3 days in a row,
No way.
which I do.
Kind of
It's just
nonsense.
stupid, but yeah.
Complete nonsense.
And I
So
still
anyway-
try to buy a bunch. Never mind.
So anyway, I usually been doing the watermelon margaritas, not like just drinking hard liquor just on its own. But I had my father-in-law who just came in from Norway this past week, and you know, as a good son-in-law, I'm always trying to get some good stuff. So we were looking at some sort of article, and he sent me this article from Gear Patrol. And they just said whiskey experts just declared this $50 bottle the world's best bourbon. Now, there's like sort of they declared the world's best bourbon. There was one of those big old spirits competitions. You know, they have one in San Francisco. There's the New York Wine and Spirits, the Singapore World Competition. And the Singapore one just ended last week. There was 4 bourbons that snagged double gold at the Singapore World Spirits Competition. Peg Leg Porker, 8-year-old gray label Tennessee straight bourbon.
I love that name, Peg Leg Porker.
And the W.L. Weller Full Proof bourbon. And the Brothers Bond original cask strength straight bourbon whiskey. Now, those are all really hard to get and are $300. So I can't even bother with that kind of crap. Actually, the Brothers Bond one is only $80, but it's harder to find. Now, the fourth one of that group, 1792 Full Proof bourbon.
Oh, I've had that. That's actually not that expensive. Yes. I polished a bottle off like, I got to say, a month ago. My wife and I killed it in like 2 weeks.
So what's interesting about
But we're not alcoholics.
What's interesting about it is that it's one of those bourbons that probably 6 months ago or 2 months ago would just be sitting on the shelf. But because of a competition like this, every douchebag, myself included, who sees this article is like, I gotta go to the store and get a bottle of that.
Dude, I got a bottle
Exactly what
at
I
Costco, I
did.
think. I think Costco carries it, don't they?
Really? And it always fluctuates what they have. So I go to the liquor store by me, and it was in the case, like with like the Macallan 30 and the, you know, the Whistle Pig Boss Hog. So I felt all fancy asking the guy to open the case, but I'm like, I'll be having the cheapest thing you have in the case. And again, that's the crazy thing, because it was $50, but there's plenty of other things that are on the shelf, the normal shelf, that are more than $50. But
wow,
for some reason, this was in there.
high demand. I remember going to that really sketchy ass liquor store in a bad part of town, and they had like just normal shit, like a bottle of Smirnoff behind the glass. Like it was that was a rough ass place.
All the cognacs are behind the glass.
It was bad.
You know where you're at. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the crazy thing about it, so it's 125 proof. Yeah, 125 proof, 62.5 ABV. They sell a small batch one, which is only $30, which, you know, is not the best of the best.
Yeah.
But so it's hot. It's hot. But the nice thing about it is you drink it, put a couple cubes in there, let them melt. There's no burn to it. It's really smooth. You get the honey, you know, you get that typical bourbon, you know, the corn mash, the oak barrels, like that same kind of bourbony flavor, but very mellow, very smooth. Really, really good. I was really amazed at how mellow it was for being 125 proof.
So let me ask you, if you just bought a bottle of that, we're like, yeah, it's a good price for a bourbon. You got it. You brought it home. Would you be appreciating as much as if you found out it won this big competition?
Absolutely not, because I need some fancy jerk-offs at these competitions to tell me what is good. Because that's just, I mean, come on, man. You go to the liquor store.
But it is weird, right? How
there's 90 different bourbons there.
Oh, yeah.
And how different are they really? You know, like
Yeah.
how different can they be? You're using corn, you're using water, you're throwing it in a barrel. Like how different could it be?
Now, after tasting a lot of bourbons, you definitely can start developing an appreciation and like, I know what I like. I know the flavor profiles I like. You could tell the difference. Like you definitely can, right? After a while of kind of training your palate, right? To what it is. But still, like like I said, I drank a bottle of that not too long ago. I was like, yeah, it was good. But what did I buy after that? I bought Woodford Reserve and I bought Bullet.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
those are some of my favorites and Basil Hayden. So I was sticking to those, but like that was good. I'd probably go out and buy it again now because of this little competition that it won.
And now you want people to find it because every jerk off who read the article is going and buying it.
You got to buy it now and stock up. You got to hoard.
Yeah,
You got to
well,
do
I know.
some COVID hoarding right now.
I mean, I was looking at the Total Wine by Me, and I was looking at the app, and they have it in stock, but it says one per customer.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, because again, everyone reads this article, everyone's going over there and buying it.
Damn.
I mean, the same thing happened to Buffalo Trace. It happened to Basil Hayden. Like a lot of the ones that we've always just used to be there. Now they win some competition, or someone mentions it, or some influencer like Joe Rogan sponsored by Buffalo Trace, so everyone goes and buys Buffalo Trace. It's just
nice.
That's just the way of the world. So
see, that's where they got to mess with people. Be like, Zemo won the world's #1 most prestigious drink competition.
Seriously, if you want to, if you're a brand manager for a bottom shelf liquor company, dude, all you got to do is just throw a few bucks at an influencer or create some fake competition.
And it's good for the environment. It comes in a plastic bottle.
Comes in a plastic, totally recyclable. It's great.
It doesn't break. It won't break when you drop it. When you pass out drunk, you will not break this bottle.
Oh God, there was something I saw recently where they took regular ramen noodles and they set up all these influencers, like regular like Top Ramen, like the cheap pack,
Yeah.
And they set up like a fake, whatever they call those, like temporary restaurants, and they invited them all. The pop-up restaurant, and they invited them in there, and they're like, the chef has made a special dish for you, and it's just like it's fucking ramen, like with a couple like vegetables in there or whatever.
Awesome.
And they're like, this is amazing. It's just so amazing. I'd pay, and like, well, what would you pay for this? Like $45 easily. And it's like just like ghetto ass ramen with like a couple of carrots in there.
I got this at the 7-Eleven, motherfucker.
Put in a fancy bowl.
Yeah.
Seriously though, that's marketing. That's marketing in 2024.
This goes back to the Folgers commercial where we secretly replaced everybody's top coffee with Folgers, and people are like, this delicious coffee, and they're at like these fancy places. That's exactly where it started. Same idea, right?
We just need a couple people to be like, we listen to the Ski Bum podcast, and it is by far the finest podcast in all the land.
Yes, the most fabulous, exuberant podcast ever.
It changes my whole attitude towards life. It gives me hope and joy. It warms my soul and my aura. And then, you're in like a dirty shirt, as they say.
That's right. It cured COVID for a few people, from what I've heard.
We told them to drink, I forget, was it Balvenie Scotch, I think? We were like, we've drank in this Scotch consistently, and we haven't gotten COVID, so it must be the cure.
When we stopped drinking it is when we contracted COVID. So, just saying.
My daughter, when she was 3 months old, did not consume enough Balvenie Scotch, which is why she got COVID.
Exactly. Because the stupid law kept it from her.
Classic example. Thanks, bureaucrats.
Thanks, Dyfus.
Yeah. Well, speaking of laws and rules and order and assignment,
let's go to ski news.
Maybe not the perfect transition, but how about Alterra Mountain Company welcoming the world to experience the 2034 Olympic Winter Games? It was recently announced that good old Salt Lake City will once again be hosting the Winter Games in 2034. And Alterra Mountain Company wanted to welcome the world to Utah when Deer Valley hosts events for the Olympic Winter Games. So they made a big announcement.
That is huge.
That is huge. And Deer Valley will host the freestyle skiing events, including moguls and aerials, marking a continuation of its long-standing tradition of commitment to winter sport development. The selection of Deer Valley as a venue for the 2034 Olympic Winter Games coincides with the destination's Expanded Excellence Initiative. This collection of projects aims to evolve and elevate the Deer Valley experience for future generations and will be ready to showcase to the world in 2034. Highlights include over doubling the existing skiable terrain, the development of the new Deer Valley East Village, a transformation of the snow park base area, and the revitalization of existing facilities. More information on these projects can be found at Expanded Excellence. So that's the whole, it was the Mayflower project. They were going to be building a separate resort, and Deer Valley's like, yeah, no, you're not going to do that. We're just going to buy you up and double the skiable area, which is pretty cool.
That's one way to do it.
Yeah, right? By 2034, Deer Valley will have been reimagined to become an even more spectacular destination, offering nearly 5,000 acres of skiable terrain, not snowboardable, only skiable.
Boom.
The new Deer Valley East Village and the transformational snow park base area, renowned for its world-class guest service and elite international ski competitions. Honored to be confirmed as an official venue for the 2034 Olympic Games. The collaboration with Salt Lake City 2034 organizing committee has been excellent, and we look forward to further strengthening this partnership as we prepare for the game's return to Utah. It's pretty awesome that they're getting it again there. It's quite amazing, too, how far the city has evolved, grown, mutated, devolved, whatever you want to call it, since the 2002 games. I mean, you think about back then, you had canyons, you had Park City, you had Deer Valley. Now you have giant Park City, which bought canyons. You're going to have super Deer Valley, which is going to be doubled in size. It really is mind-blowing how much that area has changed. They even had to change the liquor
snow
laws.
basin got developed. Pall Mall is probably going to be used for some of that. I think.
Yeah, and Snowbird. I mean, I'm not sure.
Snowbird, I think, was used. The last Olympics, I know Snow Basin had the women's downhill, I think it was, and they had something else. Ski jumping was near there. I think, where was the ski jumping? That was that Park City?
I think
I forgot where
so.
it was.
Or there's something next to, there might be a separate center next to that, the jumping center.
Yeah. But yeah, that whole area, it was a cool Olympics when they had it in Utah, so I'm excited. The last time they had it in Park City, it was pretty big.
It's gonna happen again, so we got 10 years to figure this out. I think maybe we can go there and imagine we're still doing this podcast in 10 years, and we could be out there and be part of the atmosphere. Maybe we'll have blown up to the point where they'll be inviting us and hosting us, and we'll be part of the NBC coverage. Who knows? 10 years is a long time out, but it'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, and Salt Lake City has a really, really cool airport. It's huge, but it's really efficient. So
I think part of the reason why they got it is because of the airport expansion they're doing.
Oh, and it's already huge. So
yeah,
it's incredible.
And they've got a hockey team now.
Yeah, that's hockey team. There's hockey all over. Yeah, so that's going to be good. We gotta make a point to go there because it's rare for it to be in the U.S. and it's pretty accessible, like to get there, at least some part. So
yeah,
may have to move there for a few years, like 2 years.
You could do worse. Buy a property, rent it out during the Olympics. Boom. Better. Bad idea.
Yeah, I looked not too long ago because after going to Ogden a few times, it was like, man, I got to go up there. And, things were affordable back then. Now, not so much.
It's not going to be any better in 10 years, my friend.
That's true.
Think about it.
Now they got the Olympics. You think it went down in price at all?
Playing the long game.
Yeah.
Well, still speaking of Park City.
So this next story, I tell you what, I got a lot to say about this because I think they stole our idea. Anyway, let's move on to winter sports schools. So Lindsey Vonn, she's piloting a winter sports school through the Lindsey Vonn Foundation educational program, and they came out with their annual curriculum. So in Park City, Utah, so there's going to be the WSS, the Winter Sports School, is going to become the first school in the United States to integrate the Lindsey Vonn Foundation accredited Strong Girls curriculum into its annual advisory curriculum, focusing on mind-body relationships, confidence, grit, and leadership, fostering connections between upper and lower classmen. The curriculum will include the entire student body and will be implemented as part of the current advisory program in conjunction with the training from the Lindsey Vonn Foundation. So juniors and seniors will serve as curriculum leaders. And basically, looking at this is snow school. I proposed this, we're talking about at least 8 years ago. It's the opposite school where you do your stuff. I guess this is a little bit, I will give it to them. They're talking about school during winter. And my whole thing was school over summer, so you have your winter off. So it is a little bit different, but I still think everybody copied my idea. But this looks pretty cool. So they're gonna, combine the Lindsey Vonn Foundation, like I guess the training, that program curricula into school, which is already focused on that. But they're also going to incorporate upper and lower classmen, like helping each other and teaching each other, which is very important for development of athletes. Where you get older kids helping the younger kids train, and it also helps the people, the older kids, in helping the younger kids. I think it helps with their development as well. So it's very cool. Let's look at their academic calendar. I got to see if they captured my academic calendar idea.
So what do you need to start a foundation?
Money, cash. It's called cash, and people that with cash. And you could start a foundation on anything. I could have the Champagne Drinkers in the Morning Foundation, sponsored by Highfalutin Ski Bums. Like, we could do that.
Again, like Lindsey Vonn, like I'm looking online what her net worth is. It's like $14 million. Like that's good money. That's not insane.
That's more than I thought. That's actually really good.
Well, she's done a bunch. Like she's got that pharmaceutical money coming in with that she can't sleep at night thing that's going on.
Yeah. Well, I wonder, like in her career, like she had a long, good career. Like,
yeah.
I don't know in relation how much they make, but like she had a good career. Like there are some people that are in, professional for a year or two and then they're out. Like, I don't know if they really, I don't know. Sports are so different now. Like in the last, I got to say 10 years, it's increased exponentially what people make in sports, like all sports, which is good, right? Like they've moved the needle from them making nothing and being the entertainers, where people putting on the events made the lion's share of money, and now they're actually getting paid, which is good. It's a good thing, but it's staggering the amount of money that is in the industry. Like it's entertainment, sports, like it's bringing in huge money.
Yeah. Well, she's got a bunch of houses. She kind of flips houses a bit. She got books. She's got some endorsement deals. So she's got a bunch of stuff going on. So
she's grinding it. I like it.
She's grinding. She has to. It's interesting. They have this Strong Girls camp for 11 to 14-year-old girls in the region next summer. And the camps are designed to provide attendees with mentors. That's what you mentioned. Getting them to step out of their comfort zone, build determination and grit, and review curriculum workbook containing self-reflective activities they can complete after camp. And that's something like you always hear about, teenage girls, like how they're like the level of like suicide has increased so much with the proliferation of social media. And as the father of a daughter, these are things I already start to think about, and she's not even 4 years old, but I'm starting to already think like, how do you prevent that? And they say a lot of it is just confidence and being there and being able to talk to them, and getting to sports is the biggest thing, because that's how you build the easiest way to build confidence in young kids. So this is cool. And
so I am looking at the academic calendar, and I am throwing the flag, because this is exactly my idea. Spring semester starting in April, last day of school November 22nd. That's snow school right there. That's snow school.
Yeah,
that's snow school. I'm calling foul. I'm calling my lawyer tomorrow. He's gonna be like, yeah, you had nothing. You mentioned it. That's good, but yeah, you got no leg to stand on.
We've thrown a lot of ideas out there into the ether,
Damn
and
it.
some are
It's
taken.
gold. Everybody's mining. They're using us for mining. They have AI listening to our podcast, mining it for ideas, and just taking that golden juice and making money out of it.
That's
We ain't
right.
getting paid. We ain't getting paid right now.
Someday we'll catch our break. But yeah,
Snow-
it's kind of sad that all this stuff is so necessary and isn't just part of a curriculum to begin with.
yeah.
You know, like why aren't we just making kids as awesome as possible?
I think
We
it's
don't have
great.
enough
Well,
money.
it's great because the customization of like, hey, you know what? Somebody that has an affinity for that or wants to do it, like this is perfect, right? You got a school focused on that, the timing. I tell you what, my son does virtual school now and he's playing hockey. So I'm all for virtual school. And I got to say, thank COVID because it would not be available. In total honesty, it would not be available if COVID had not come and people had to find a way to make things still happen that had to happen because now virtual school is available to him through the local program, right? So he's still going to, through Florida school and it gives him the freedom to actually play sports in another state anywhere he is and still do his curriculum online. This is a program, face to face, but the schedule is that it allows these kids to pursue their dream of doing, whether it's skiing, I know we're talking about skiing, but this could be skating, it could be everything, like anything winter focused. Like you're off from November through April, so you have the whole winter to like pursue your winter dreams, whether you're
Yeah.
bobsled or skating or skiing or
Curling.
whatever it is, man. Like you can, this is pretty cool. Like I
Yeah.
love that. Like this should have been all along, right? Like if you do winter stuff, why not? I mean, shoot, even if you want to work a job, you could be doing snowplow. If you're in high school, you snowplow all winter. You're off, man. You're making cash, a lot of money. Plowing
It's the way
snow.
to do it. I'm telling you, it's the way to do it.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how this plays out and if they're going to build. I mean, if this is successful, I'm sure this will be a blueprint for other folks and other, further development and other places doing a similar curriculum. Because again, 2034 is only 10 years away. And if you get these kids right now, you could be creating some bionic athletes that'll be ready to go in 10 years.
So I'm going to call it now. Out of this program, right? Now it's not on here, but as I say it, somebody's going to take that idea through AI or just listening, and they're going to be like, we have it. We're going to have a snow grooming driving school, training school out of this, and Zamboni training and racing school out of this as well.
Zamboni racing. Finally.
I'm calling it.
Finally.
It's
Our prayers have been answered.
You're like, oh, you want to learn how to drive a snowcat? Boom, we got a whole snowcat program in snow school. There you go.
Finally.
That'll be the off snow school. The extra, their summer program is the winter program, and that's snowcat driving.
Dreams do come true.
Boom.
Well, speaking of dreams coming true or nightmares coming true, former Atomic employee accused of stealing 1,900 skis.
Man, that's like selling coke for years and then getting caught.
Freeway across. An Atomic
like
ski employee is being charged with the theft of 1,900 pairs of skis. So technically, he stole 3,800 skis.
Damn.
From the Austrian manufacturer. The now former employee was tasked with disposing of skis with minor defects at the factory in Pongau, Austria, and instead siphoned them away and sold them for €50 per pair. The 57-year-old man, as well as an accomplice, are now being charged in the district court in Salzburg with serious commercial theft. The maximum penalty for commercial theft is 3 years imprisonment.
Damn.
The case was uncovered by Andreas Widmeyer of the Austrian newspaper Salzburger Nachrichten, who came across the public court documents from the Salzburg public prosecutor's office. According to Vidmeyer, the employee has been working on these ski thefts since August 2021. A raid of the accused's house revealed about 300 pairs of skis stashed away. The defendant was let go from his job at Atomic in November 2023. Many companies will destroy products that don't pass quality checks. Faulty products entering the mainstream market can ruin a brand's reputation and cause warranty issues. Atomic sells around 600,000 pairs of skis a year, making it one of the largest ski manufacturers in the world. So
he's like the Pablo Escobar of Austria.
Well, they're defective skis. And instead of having them destroyed, he sold them. Now, isn't that kind of a green initiative? If you think about it.
Why waste it?
Yeah, I mean,
the only reason he's getting busted is because they didn't have their warehouse brand with the defectives that they were selling on the side for cheaper, right? So it was somebody stealing them and selling them. So they're like, yeah, that wasn't cool, but getting paid. It's the dirty circuit. I mean, this is the I think this is the crime family of Austria. They're moving skis.
You could send those to like Sierra Trading Post, black out the logo. Like, it seems like destroying
dollar
skis
store
with
dollar store
minor
skis.
defects.
Dollar store skis.
Goodwill. Like, I mean, come on. Like, I feel like everybody in the ski industry is just so we need green energy. We have to do this. We have to save the planet. This would actually be a really easy way to do something that's good for the environment, like not creating more waste. But
right, sell them on Temu. You'd be better off doing that.
Right. I feel like there's so many better ways to do it, but there's that whole rub of, ruining the brand's reputation. And I read some article from that Sierra, which it was Sierra Trading Post. Now it's just Sierra, and how a lot of brands don't want too much inventory there because, again, it kind of tarnishes your brand there. And you're not going to spend full price on the website of the company, the manufacturer, if you can just get it there for half price. So I understand that. But if you are really serious about helping the planet and reducing waste, then you would find a way to sell these minor blemished.
That's good for everybody else, but not for us, is what they're saying. Right?
Sell them, create like a rental brand. Like make an off brand that's only going to be used for rentals, and that
Adirondack chairs.
Adirondack chairs. Boom. Something.
Pool tables.
Yeah.
Shuffleboard tables out of it. Like
cornhole boards. I don't know. Figure something out.
Bar tops, bar stools. Like, we got a lot of things we can make out of that.
Yeah.
Building materials.
To just destroy them, that seems very ungreen, man.
Could you make a yurt out of those? At least the outer wall of a yurt of all skis? That'd be kind of cool.
Could stop you.
That'd be custom. How about a pool lined with skis? Like, endless possibilities.
Endless possibilities. Yep. Way better than destroying them. So,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he had 50 euros a pair he was selling them for. And let's just say let's say he sold 1,000 pairs. Yeah, he's making some bank there.
I'm just sad I wasn't able to get in on the 50 euros a pair, because I could have had a ton of skis right now, like baller ass skis that were a little quirky, 50 euro. Yeah. Damn.
Just the guy's a hustler. He's gonna get out of prison in 3 years. He's gonna find a new hustle.
It could be that you're skiing on them and all of a sudden they snap and then there goes your legs. You're dead.
Yeah. I don't know. You try suing Atomic and they're like, no, this is the Atomic outlet ski. We have no warranty on these. Ha ha.
No, that's when you get the chow voice.
You can use you can use your broken ski for a splint. See?
That's right, motherfucker.
Yep.
You get the chow. Chow's everywhere. That's crazy.
Now, speaking of ski companies who are branching out and doing more than just making
diversification. Diversification. So, Brian, I'll start this off, and I'm sure you can jump in. And anyway, Peak Skis, the message is out, though. Peak Skis, built on innovation, grit, and performance and precision, driven by precision to create something better and diversify their brand. They decided to go into bourbon
And
and
rye.
rye. So,
Gotta love
and
it.
rye. Because somebody was like, "We're just going to do bourbon." And somebody said, "No, we got to get the rye market too. We can't.
That's right.
You're going to leave the rye on the table. You got to get the bourbon and the rye."
Big Rye is not going to run Montana.
That's right. We got bourbon and rye. We own all of Montana. Like, we're not giving part of it up. But yeah, so they partnered with some like-minded local organizations, like Wildwire Distilling, and they decided to support local agriculture and economics and create a Peak Montana bourbon and rye, which from local sourced ingredients, bottling, and everything done locally. So it's kind of cool that they're keeping it local, dedicated to a taste of Montana, and they're branding it as you can enjoy the taste of Montana anywhere. I love that. So is this going to be nationally distributed or semi-nationally distributed?
That is
I
a good
hope.
question, because this was from an email they sent out, and I tried finding more on their website, and it didn't have too much more information. So this could still be relatively new. I'm sure they're keeping it local for the time. But I will say, could there possibly be a better potential sponsor than Peak Skis and Bourbon
So
and
if you
Rye
go to,
for us?
it's awesome. So I tell you, if you go to Peak Ski Company, peakskis.com, they have a link in there to a page. Peak Montana Rye, $65, and they will ship.
Oh,
Now, on the site, in the picture, they have a bourbon glass, like a highball glass. I think that's what they're called, right? The highball glass.
yeah.
And it actually has a mountain profile in it. It actually looks really cool. I like those glasses.
Where did you find it on the site?
I will send it on the chat right now. And we can include it in the show notes.
All right.
Bam. I just sent it to you. So I don't know if I did a search. It's on their site, but I didn't find it from their site. I found it from just a Google search.
Oh, okay.
They can't ship to West Virginia, Utah, Tennessee, Oregon, North Carolina, Michigan, Mississippi, Massachusetts, Hawaii, Alaska, or Alabama because they're all pussies. But
Seriously.
I heard nothing
Pathetic.
about New Jersey or Florida, which means that shit's going to be here maybe by next podcast. Let's put it that way.
Oh, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So they have the bourbon whiskey and they have the rye. Both of them are for sale, $65 each. Oh, looks good. I wonder if they come with the glasses. Damn it, they don't come with the glasses. Which would you rather try, the bourbon or the rye?
Probably the bourbon.
Yeah, I think I'm bourboning it. And my lovely wife, who we just hit 4 years yesterday.
Look at that. Congratulations.
Still going strong. Still going strong. It's like it's a marathon, right? How many years you got going under your belt?
Well, it's a big one this year. It's 15.
Whoo, damn.
Yeah,
That's a long time.
it is. That is the truth.
Yeah, so they got it for sale on their site. So let's see. Looks like they ship. Let me go through the store. I think we'd have to order.
So those glasses, I think there's a company that sells those. It has like the mountain actually in the glass.
They're fucking cool, right?
That's not the one I'm thinking of. There's one company that they actually sell. They have the profile of the mountain like in the bottom inside of the glass. I think it's like Northern Drinkware or North something Drinkware.
If anybody knows, please write us because we want to buy some of these.
Yeah, it's North. All right, go to northdrinkware.com. Yeah, these are really cool glasses. I've at times considered buying these, but could never muster up the dough. Or
Dude,
the,
when I die, I am not going to be able to afford anything. So I'm going to buy them while I can.
there you go.
Oh, this is in the bottom of the glass. Is it in the profile
Bottom
too?
of the glass, yeah. Well, they sell
That's
different
pretty
ones.
cool.
Isn't
Yeah,
that cool? And they
that's
sell
pretty damn
different
cool.
ones. So they have like, the Cascades, they have the Adirondacks, they have Mount
Oh, you can get your
Fuji,
favorite bounty. Oh,
they have the Tetons. They have like it's pretty cool all the different ones they have.
nice.
And they have
Oh,
beer
yeah, look at
glasses. They
that.
have
Mount Rainier, the Teton tumbler.
yeah, they're really cool. They're not
Lake
cheap.
Tahoe.
They are cool.
They're not cheap, but they're probably, are they crystal?
They're just glass. I mean, the guy's like
They're just
hand
glass.
blowing it, so
Hey, somebody's blowing it. Yeah, that's worth it.
ew.
Ew. Oh, look at that. They have state and country collective. So collections. They have
Like
Washington,
the box
Oregon,
set one, yeah.
California, Utah, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York. What do you got from New York? What the hell?
Adirondacks.
They probably have Adirondacks. Yep.
The Big Sky one is
Alright.
really cool. Yeah.
That's pretty
They
cool.
have pint glasses and they have the tumbler, like the whiskey glasses.
All I got to say is this is an opportunity to pick out your own Christmas gift. This is perfect. Send that link to my wife. Here's the Christmas gift list.
There you go.
Boom. All right, I got a cart going with.
You got
Bourbon
bourbon
and rye.
and glasses. Look at you.
No, I got bourbon and rye from Peak.
Look
I
at
think
you.
I may safely add to cart. No, where's my cart? I got to check out. Where's my cart?
Up top. Throw some skis in there too.
Throw some
Come on,
skis
man.
in there. Why not?
YOLO.
250s? Is that good enough for ski jumping?
Yeah, right.
So let me ask you, so I had this conversation not too long ago with my wife. I'm like, how the hell do you get started in ski jumping? So we were watching Lillehammer, at the end where he wants to do the ski jumping. You wonder, how the hell do you get started with ski jumping? Is it you just kind of, hey, let me try it. You do a little jump, then you do a bigger jump. How is it? Because then you get on that big jump, you basically poop your pants while you're up there, I gotta imagine.
Yeah. You got to do it young enough. They don't even realize what's happening.
Yeah, you break enough stuff, you're just gonna be like, yeah, that's all right. It's cool. Got it.
I'm on my parents'
bro.
insurance. It's no big deal.
I got it, bro.
We're good.
Well, if you're in another country, you're like, we're all socialized insurance. Somebody take care of me. We're good. We're cool.
Someone's got this. My femur is sticking out of my leg.
That's all right. My uncle had a femur like that too. He's good. He walks with a limp. Everybody likes him. He's a fun guy.
So you making the purchase? Is this happening?
I'm getting to the checkout. It's happening.
Look at you.
It sure as shit is happening. It's happening live on the podcast or semi-live on the podcast.
We are buying whiskey online.
Now, if you guys buy, and it's because you're hearing it on this podcast, please let us know because we want to try to get more free bourbon from them.
Yeah,
if we can.
Come on, Bodie. We need ski. Send us skis and bourbon. Come on. I mean, this is if there is a podcast that should be sponsored by Peak Skis. I mean, shouldn't it be this one? I mean, what do we talk about more than anything else? Skiing and bourbon.
Bodie Miller should deliver these to a few select guests. That would be really cool. Can you imagine if you had a company and you had bourbon and somebody ordered and you just random said, fuck it, I'll be in the area. I'll deliver my personally. You knock on the door, be like, oh my God, it's Bodie Miller. Like, here you go, guys. I brought an extra bottle for us to share. That'd be great.
Forget that FedEx. This is
best
Bodex.
Day ever.
Oh. Bodex.
Bodex. Can you imagine FedEx be like, we got to compete, man. Let's get some drivers out there that don't have problems. They can have some bourbon with some of the people that.
We can't compete with Bodex.
I think that would
compete with Bodex.
Can't compete. We can't compete, man. All right.
Well, that kind of wraps up.
It's a gift to me.
A gift to you. That kind of wraps up the ski news. And now rolling into the main topic. As we discussed early on, we're just kind of talking about what we've been up to in the summer because it has been what feels like an endless summer. But
There's an endless
we all
summer.
know
It's pretty rough.
it's been crazy hot. I know for me, last podcast again, I talked about my Go Ruck thing that I did. I don't even know where the summer went. We've had so many like birthday parties and going to the beach and kids events. It's just been like the last 2 months have just blinked by. It's been
Blink.
crazy. Just blinked. So the purchase is in. You locked it in. You
It's
got
official.
Bourbon and
Done.
rye are coming your way.
Bourbon's on the way. I'm not getting junk mail. I am getting some really choice mail being delivered.
What's wonderful about that too is I wonder if you can write that off as a business expense.
I'm going to have it for the podcast. So
Because technically,
just saying.
It was a purchase made for the business, for the podcast.
It was.
So perhaps it can be a write-off.
I think anything could be a write-off if you position it the right way. We got to save
That's true.
receipts. We talked about it on the podcast. We're going to talk about it again. I got to write to Peak Skis and be like, we are going to have this on the podcast. Who can have it simultaneous? Can Bodie Miller enjoy some with us virtually on the podcast? That would be great. Maybe. Could be an opportunity. Let's see.
Yeah. So Mario, what have you been up to this summer? Because again, we haven't talked too much. It's been like 2 months since the last podcast. What's been keeping you occupied?
So I've been trying to. So it's been a tough ride for me, right? Work's been pretty crazy. I've had some health issues. I think I told you, Brian, I've been battling some issues with my shoulder and my hip. I think, what, kind of doing certain activities like skiing, biking, if you skate or rollerblade, you probably have some of the same problems with like your hip and your flexors. Like it's very important to stretch. And one of the things as I notice as I get older, like I'm from the position of like, hey, I used to be an athlete, used to do a lot more than I do now, a lot more competitive, things like that. Now I slowed down. I work a lot in an office environment. So you realize how much your body gets beat up sitting in an office, right? And then living more of a sedentary life and working longer hours, it's just definitely different on your body. Like you don't have as much workout time. You're not doing as many activities. I'm having injuries now because I'm not as active as I used to be. And you're feeling the pain that you probably should have felt years ago, but you were in better shape. And now it's catching up to you because you're not in better shape and things are just kind of breaking down. So it's kind of a wake-up call that I got to get a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more working out going. So it's kind of something that's coming for us all. But the one thing I could share with everybody is that keep doing what you can while you can, because when you can't do it, you can't go back in time and kind of catch up. You're just kind of screwed, and then you got to work through it. So, cautionary tale to be had, but also I've been trying to, so that's what I've been dealing with recently. It's the shoulder. It's all the right side of my body, the shoulder and the hip. But other than that, bowling, which I've taken up again, which I'm doing pretty good at.
Don't let the old man in.
Don't let the old man in. So I switched to different sports, still biking a little, not as hard, not doing any competitive
from
or
cycling to bowling.
To bowling and
That's
walking a lot.
That's a big shift.
And then I have a dog. So life changes, life happens. Right. So doing a little bit of traveling still, not as much. It's really been a lot of work. Like these are earning years right now. So trying to earn and grind so that I can.
Way to go, young blood. Getting paid.
Getting paid. Just trying to get to the point where I can travel a little bit more. So I'm looking at. So part of what I'm looking at right now is you always have that bucket list of stuff you want to do, places you want to go. For me, places I still want to ski, right? Japan being one of them. Maybe take some trips to some cool, cold places. So I kind of digging out that bucket list, like going back through and saying, where do I want to make sure I can hit while we can ski, when we can ski, what do I want to experience? Sometimes it might not even be skiing. So just looking at that, definitely want to revisit some of the places that were great. Zermatt's on the list still, but yeah, planning out some trips still. Did a cruise this summer, which first cruise in a very long time. First cruise for my wife, so that was kind of cool. Took a baller ass little cruise. So there's been a lot going on. We just went to the Keys. So I'd never been to Key West. So went to Key West. Very chill, nice, cool atmosphere. Weren't there long, but we did a Virgin cruise. Margaritaville. Did not go to Margaritaville, but walked around the town. Went to the Hemingway House, which if anybody hasn't been to the Hemingway House, it's a nice little place to go visit while you're there. It's a whole walkable little Key West city. But the Hemingway House has the three-toed cats. So very interesting to see, and they're all over. Yes. So there was I guess the legend is that Hemingway was visited by a friend of his that was a captain, a ship captain, and he had a three-toed cat. And he was so impressed with the cat, he liked it. The captain gave him either the cat or one of the cat's litter or something like that. And Hemingway had this. Well, it turns out that it's kind of a genetic flaw in the cat that actually will carry down to the offspring. So there's these three-toed cats that are all from that bloodline, which is really kind of cool. So there's some regular cats in there, but it's like there's a ton of cats in there. And like when he died, he willed, I guess, the preservance of the estate to his cats, to make sure they take care of him. So they kind of still get taken care of. So it's just interesting to see like where he lived and shit that he did. He had like an in-ground pool. Like he was a very cool guy, Hemingway. So yeah, did that. Yeah, I gotta say, just a lot of work, little stuff, a lot of planning. So got to get back to focusing on stuff that matters, right? Like it's kind of one of those things, you focus on stuff that matters, right, to you and your family, right? Like, so there's been a lot of focus on our son, which is important, right? And then you gotta make sure you don't forget about yourself. And I think that's kind of where I'm going back to is I still got to make sure I do stuff for myself. And I kind of been ignoring that a little bit. So, it's good because that means I'm not a selfish prick. I actually care about other people. So that's always good, right? Especially if they're your family.
Look at you bragging about not being a selfish prick.
That's right. So it's kind of good if it's not it's your family that you kind of are not a selfish prick. But you also got to, make sure you take care of yourself too, because you can't take care of anybody if you don't take care of yourself first too. So
yeah,
it's easy to forget that for some people, at least.
Yeah. No, I mean,
how about you?
I like I said, we've had so many like family things, kids parties, just lots of events. My sister-in-law had a baby, so it's like her second, so we had to go and we helped her out and to the hospital and saw her. It's just been a lot of just little things, like that. And we're close to the beach, and in the summer, like where we are, it's the time to go. So we've been getting to the beach as much as possible too with the kids, and it tires them out because we throw them in the water. They there's nothing else that tires them out like the beach does. So that's a big positive for us, because
but those are fond memories too. Like when you look back, right? Or even if you're a kid, like when you're a kid, you look back like, oh, I had a lot of fun at the beach, right? And I had a lot of fun skiing. So you kind of like, you want to have both, right?
Yeah, for sure. And my son, he's doing like a learn to play hockey program, so he's doing that in the summer too. Nice. So that has always been, that's like, I love taking him to that, and I really hope he sticks with it. I'm going to try to force him for at least a couple of years to stick with it, because I would love to just be like a hockey dad, or like, if he doesn't stick with the hockey, with the skiing, like just to have him do one of those two sports.
Yeah.
And where I live, it's one of those places that it's funny because a lot of people who live here that we know moved back here when they became adults and started a family because it is a really like pretty special spot. And you think of these kids, and there's just some days where you're like, you guys have no clue how lucky you are to be where you are. And again, that's the parents' job though. Like your job is to provide them with these opportunities that that sure they don't get it now, but eventually down the road, hopefully at your funeral, they're like, God damn it, Dad gave me all that he did everything that he could. And
Nice.
that's all you can really hope for. There's some tears at your funeral because you did a good job. But hopefully not thinking too far into the funeral times. But it's just been, again, it's been like a blink of an eye since even we last podcasted, which was almost almost 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago. It's
Damn.
just it felt like yesterday. It's just been so busy with everything. But
Yeah.
that's dad life, that's parent life, that's life in 2024 for a lot of people. Everyone's just trying to do their best and get by, and again, trying to put some money aside too, like you said, to plan some trips out. Like, it's funny, like our kids always talk about it now. Like, can we go back to Vermont? Can we go back to go skiing?
That's nice.
Can we, where there's a pool? Like, can we go back to the pool? So it's just trying to, again, plan for them, and they're excited about getting back on skis. So just trying to keep that energy, that momentum, that kind of new thrill, keep that alive for them. So
it's funny. I was reading something recently. It was a book about talking about like aging brains and try to keep your mind malleable and still learning. Like there's techniques and things you could do for it, but like I don't know, I've read a few books on like brain science, and I don't know why, but it just interests me. So I read them, and there was this one section they were talking about where they were talking about depression and like how I think I'm predisposed to a little bit of depression, like in some ways. Like, and I think it's when I kind of just shut down from everything and kind of close into myself, which isn't good. Like, I just kind of get into this funk, a little bit depressed. Not anything dangerous, but it's just kind of funky and weird. But I was listening to something, and they were talking about how one of the things that people forget that helps with depression is gratitude, like appreciating the things that you've done and that have happened in your life. And I think we look past them. Like, when I think about the places that I've skied and the friends that I've skied with, the happy times that I've had, I get so much joy from that. And I think, just in general, people don't do that enough. Like, because when you do that and you get into that headspace, you really appreciate like those experiences that you've had. And that's what makes, the enjoyment of skiing, like for me, like we've had that camaraderie, and that's why it developed into this podcast. And I have friends from that I wouldn't have had otherwise. Like, so when you start thinking about that and appreciating that, it puts things into perspective of like what's important in your life and what's been important and what you have. Like, it really lifts you out of a little bit of funk. Like, it just makes you happy. Like, it makes you feel good,
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, one of those things people ask you, like, well, why do you like skiing so much? And, one of the things that I always start off with is that where else can you experience like pure freedom of your body like you can with skiing? I mean, you got these sticks on your feet, and you look down a mountain and you're like, well, I could just put my arms out and just drop in and go as fast as I'm comfortable going. That's unlike
Yeah.
most things you can do anywhere, in any sport, unless you're skydiving or something. But there's something so cool about that. But also too, when you're done at the end of the day, like you mentioned, the getting together with friends, with family, the conversations you have, the memories you make, like those things they're not easily replicatable because it's something you can do individually, but also as part of a group.
Yeah.
And the people that you do it with are there a lot of them times are in the same boat as you, like it's like, yeah, I went over here, like this was a really sketchy terrain. I don't know if it probably shouldn't have gone over there, but we did it together, and now we have this story of survival. It's almost like in a very like scaled down way, like having a war buddy, like, oh, I remember that
Yeah.
time in Ho Chi Minh City and we took out 2 of them. Oh my God, that was amazing, but slightly
Well, even
less
like,
violent way.
it's different now, like, because everything's digital, like with photos, but you take a lot of photos and you don't realize all the photos you take because they're digital and they're always accessible, this is the weird part of it, right? So they're always accessible, but they're not just
You don't do anything with
kind
them.
of there, right? Like if you had an album, a photo album, you would or a photo book, you'd pick it up every once in a while, page through, be like, oh, that's pretty cool. I remember that, right? But take a trip down memory lane of your photos and start going through the years. And I come across like the share houses we did. And I'm like, oh, I remember that year we had such great snow. I also remember that there was rain. There was like we did this fun thing. We went out. Like this person was a nut. Like we had a lot of fun times. Like, and it was the stuff around the skiing as well as the skiing, right? So the skiing's there, and yeah, I have ski pictures and stuff. Like I remember days, but then it's all the stuff like you have the sensationalized stuff where you remember like the skiing because it was so epic and all that stuff. But then you remember those cool, fun times where maybe nothing really great happened, but I remember just hanging out that day and it was great, like just for whatever reason, like you had a fun time. Or I remember we did the what was it? The monster, we were in the share house and it was raining and we did the villain showdown, the bracket of
Oh yeah.
the worst villains. Like that was fun ass stuff. Like, so things like that, like it sparks your memory. Like, hey, that was pretty fun. You know what I mean? Like just weird little times. And it's nice to reminisce. Makes you feel a little bit older, but I tell you what, it really makes you appreciate the stuff that you went through and that you had, that some of it you take for granted, right? Like you kind of don't even remember that as being like, oh, that was the benefit of doing a share house, right? And then you
Yeah.
start going down the memories and you're like, oh yeah, I really got a lot more out of it than I thought. So it's kind of cool. And that's part of the gratitude, right? Like just being grateful for the stuff that you've had and happens in your life. And it turns out that I'm not such a miserable bastard when I go down that route and I appreciate stuff because I'm very appreciative of the world and the life that I have.
Yeah.
Things are not as bleak as they seem,
No. There's you got to hang on to hope. You got to hang on to the appreciation and gratitude are, it gives you a good foundation for everything else in your life if you can start there.
Yeah. And like for you, you want to pass some of that along to your kids, right? Like let them have some memories so that they can have those same type of memories. They're going to be different, which is good, but
Mhm.
and they're going to be theirs, which is,
Yeah, and that's what with skiing, like they even talk about like, staying at the hotel that we stay. Can we go to a hotel? Can we stay at a hotel
yeah,
and eat at a restaurant? Like just those things that, as an adult kind of, we stayed at all, most adults have stayed at plenty of hotels, especially, ski folk. Been to plenty of hotels, been to plenty of, restaurants, but to them it's like a special memory now because it's some of the first ones they're staying at and places they're going, and they always
yeah,
bring it up like when we go places. So I'm like, I want to keep giving them those memories and keep doing these things because when I'm long gone, like I want them to even remember that and look at that fondly and take their kids and have them go on these adventures. So you're
yeah.
planting those seeds now and hopefully it
Or
flourishes into a beautiful tree.
or like the best waffles you had at the place in Vermont um, right by Killington. That was that bed and breakfast that had the little restaurant with the waffles where we had the beer with the breakfast that matched with it. Like they weren't the
Backcountry
best, but
Cafe.
yeah, but it might not have been the best waffles, but they were the best waffles at that time. And they're a great
Yeah.
memory,
Yeah.
like things like that you kind of take for granted. And it's also with making memories in the summer, right? You go to the beach. I got a lot of fond memories of the beach, growing
Yeah.
up and stuff. So it's good to make memories, right? You got to make some memories. That's what makes life life.
When we're old and gray, it's all we're gonna have is our memories. So better make some good
Yeah.
ones now.
Right? If you can
If you,
remember, right?
if you can remember, yeah.
That's the sad part too. So trying to keep it going, make some memories, make some plans for next year. Cause I tell you, I'm already starting to plan. I'm already looking at stuff. A lot of people are making plans early. Like I want to make sure stuff happens,
If you don't do it this year, you'll just be a year older when you do.
Exactly. This is time to plan.
Right? That's right.
So that's what I've been doing over the summer. Now trying to get back in shape. That's an uphill battle too, but trying to make that work as well.
It gets harder as you get older, but again, don't let the old man in. If you just gotta stay after it, push other shit aside, make that a priority, make work a lower priority, make your health a higher priority.
Yeah.
And you will everyone will benefit from that. I think I honestly am probably in the best shape of my life right now. I've been
Really?
sticking with this routine.
Nice.
Yeah, dude, I am like, not to brag, but I'm as jacked as I've ever been. And I'm
Get
like
out.
in my, yes, it just
Double jacked?
I've been sticking to this routine. I've been doing this workout program, and there's some days I do it and I'm like, I fucking hate this shit so goddamn much, but I just shut up and I just do it. And if you just keep doing it, you're less likely to stop. But again, like I said, this week my father-in-law's been in town, been drinking a lot. He, coming from Norway, when he comes here, he always needs pizza and bagels. So I've been eating a
Nice.
lot of pizza and bagels, which is not the best for staying healthy and keeping healthy. But like you just feel it after a day or two of eating all that shit, and you're just like, oh my god, this is how most people feel every day. Like no
Oh,
wonder
that's
they're not
funny.
exercising, they're not, you know, going on walks and hikes and lifting. It just grinds you down. But if you can just keep doing it, keep a routine going, keep exercising, you're not going to ski your legs into shape. But if you can be ready, like I always feel like I want my body to be ready, as if I may win the lottery and I may have to go to South America in the summer immediately. Or in the wintertime, I may immediately have to go to Whistler or to Tahoe or to Jackson Hole or something. I want my body to
That's
be
awesome.
ready to go the next day.
So I've been wondering at what point do I start taking steroids? Like I'm
Not
not like
steroids, but if you can get on
I'm not competing.
testosterone replacement, that's the move.
Yeah. Just saying, why not? I got
TRT.
nothing
Yep.
else to do as long as it doesn't kill me. I'm all right with
No,
that.
your body just makes less testosterone as you get older. So if you can get on testosterone replacement, your body, every part of your body will be acting like it's younger.
I think I got to see a doping doctor. I think that'll
Yeah,
help.
that's one of the things. Like
We
I'm
do some
trying to.
EPO.
How do you find like? I want to find like a based doctor, a doctor who's like jacked, who's like, bro,
Yeah.
I'm gonna hook you up. Like, how do you find that doctor? That's been
How do
driving
you
me
find
crazy.
the Lance Armstrong doctor? That's what I want. I want that guy. Like the guy that helps the weightlifter, beat the system. Like, do they have him in the phone book? Like, how
I
does that
don't
work?
I don't need the Icarus doctor per se,
That's right.
but if I
The Olympic doctor
were,
that's helping these athletes beat the system right
how
now.
do you find that guy? Yeah, like it's there
Yeah.
should be some
They're
way.
out there. Out there.
That's what I'm trying to find. The
Yeah.
jacked based doctor.
Just a little jacked, not a lot of jacked, not death jacked. I just want to get a little jacked. Just look good,
Yeah,
you know?
there
I
you
don't know.
go. Yeah.
There's got to be a blog. Somebody will write to us, be like, hey, check this guy out, something like that. If you got a referral, we don't have to say where it comes from. You guys could be on the dark web, whatever. Just let us know.
Yeah, it's got to be local though. Unfortunately, that's the problem.
It's kind of like microdosing, right? So they talk about now like mushrooms, and I'm kind of like, I'm interested. I'm like, I would love to microdose mushrooms, open up my mind a little, microdose everything. And then I start thinking, I'm like, how about microdosing cocaine? I got a little, I'm a little tired in the morning. Can I microdose that and then get on with the day? Like, does that get out of hand? Like, I don't know. I'm afraid to even try it.
Like,
How
why
about crack?
can't we?
Is crack,
Why
can you
is
do a little crack? Or is crack one
why,
of those no-nos? I don't know.
like why can't they have some sort of coffee creamer, a little bit of Coke in there, right?
Just a little bit. Just a
Just a
little
little
bit.
bit. Microdosing
Just a
Coke
little
in your
bit.
coffee.
Well, there's all these fucked up stories about like I don't think anybody can microdose like fentanyl. Like that shit is bad. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Black tar heroin, I wouldn't imagine that you can microdose that. Can I microdose? No, you can't do that.
Well, I think wasn't it
Meth, I don't know.
that Dr. Carl Hart, the Columbia professor who was recreationally using heroin, like him and his wife would do it like every
Damn,
couple
that's a
months.
hardcore.
Well,
Wow.
he's got like a whole book about it too. Like they weren't addicted. They would just set aside some time, and this is heroin o'clock. We're gonna do it now. We're good for a while, but we
It's kind of
know
like
our
your
limits.
leg day, arm day, cheat day, heroin day, right?
Heroin
Like
day. Yeah,
heroin day.
you drink on the weekends. Just do heroin once a month on a Friday, and
Maybe a little
kind
coke
of
in the morning. I don't
you
know.
you adjust your calendar so you don't have too much going on the next day.
Yeah. They had that brand that was they were selling mushroom in pills, and I think we talked about it. I don't know if it was I don't know if we talked about it on the last podcast or like before, because we talk about a lot of stuff. And it was like the brand was advertising mushrooms, and then they found out, oh, they were putting psilocybin in there. Like they were putting the actual mushrooms in there.
Oh.
And they were not labeling it. And it was like, oops, my bad. Like what had happened was so people were getting real stuff they were getting real mushroom tabs.
Like imagine on Thanksgiving, you know how you make that broccoli with the cream of mushroom soup and the French onion things on top? Imagine like Campbell's had like an outbreak of people putting psilocybin mushrooms in the cream of mushroom soup.
Oh,
It's the best Thanksgiving ever, man.
it's like a Julia Child recipe.
Oh my god, that would be awesome. Like, why aren't there ever any cool outbreaks like that? It's like botulism and
I tell you what, I'm afraid to I like the people I work with, and I do trust them. I'm just not a trustful person. I'm always afraid when somebody brings something in for people that it's dosed with something. I'm like, I don't know if I can eat those cookies, man. I don't know what's in it.
Cookies, yeah.
I don't know what's in it, man. I'm sorry. That's just how I am. Like, thank you. I just, why don't you take a bite? I don't think I could take a bite. I will not eat this. I don't know.
It's gotta be hermetically sealed from
That's
the Hostess
right.
factory. Yeah.
I don't know if I don't even know. I'm to the point where I don't know if you washed your hands when you made these. Like I just can't do it.
Ugh.
Is your kitchen clean? Because I got to see a picture of your kitchen when you made this. Like, how about that? Do you have a video of you making this? Then maybe I'd eat it.
Snot rocket into the brownies.
Yes, just it's that's not cream in there. I don't know. There could be stuff. I go different places with my mind.
Van Wilder with the dog shit. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know.
No.
Just don't know.
I get it.
But I'm looking at these tumblers now. These Teton tumbler and the other tumbler.
We're keeping things. We're keeping gratitude. We're staying positive. We're being the light in people's lives. That's our goal. That's our plan.
The light in the lives. Yeah.
Lighting the lamp, lighting people's lives up, keeping it positive, staying grateful. That's the plan. And that's also how we're going to wrap up the podcast today. So thank you so much for listening. Check us out, skibumpodcast.com, socials, Instagram, X, Facebook, Untapped, at Skibum Podcast. Send us an email, skibumpodcast@gmail.com. We plan on doing this. We're getting back on schedule. We're getting ready for ski season. Hope you guys are too. Thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you guys next week.
Stay high, stay fluting.
See ya.